I'm basically working now on two main topics. One of them is the business of the movie industry, and the other one is CRM, or customer relationship management. As you may know, in the movie industry, the supply chain consists of, movie producer, and then you have a movie distributor, and finally you have the movie exhibitor. So the exhibitor, the retailer, faces, decisions of the sort: what movies I should play on what screen, for how many weeks, when should I start, the first showing, when should I start the next showing, how do I make sure that, the clientele that lives, where my movie theater, is located, is happy with my product assortment. And, many years they've done, a fairly good job based on pure judgment and intuition. But my research, along with my colleagues, of course, indicates that they leave money on the table, in the sense that they don't make necessarily the best possible decisions that one could make. And we developed, decision support systems that, looks into these decisions more formally, analyze data that they collect, and I mean data from ticket sales in a given theatrical facility in a given week. We analyze this data, and this allows us to improve the decision-making process by exhibitors. We are very fortunate to have an exhibitor in Europe who collaborates with us, and we've run a test. And by that what I mean, we used one facility that made the booking decisions based on our recommendations, and another facility, similar to the first, did not make the recommendations based on our system. And over a 6-month period, we've demonstrated an incremental revenues in the facility that did use these formal models and formal analysis. That doesn't mean that the other facility was not profitable, but the point is that there is room for improvements, and the magnitude can go up to, and I'm talking about the European theatrical facility, up to 1 million euros per year. I also worked with movie distributors, and movie distributors face different problems. They need to decide, first of all, whether or not to take this movie to the theater, or they can take it straight into the video store and bypass the theatrical window. If they do go to the theater, they need to know how much support, I mean marketing support, this movie really needs. And again, traditionally, this is a creative industry. That's why I enjoyed so much working in this industry, because we bring some science to this industry. And they used to make these decisions based on intuition, gut feelings, the way it used to be done back in the 50s, And they don't recognize the changes in consumers' tastes, in consumers' habits. So again, we bring here the science to this, space. And we worked with movie distributors and demonstrated that we can, first of all, predict the performance of the movie if it is released theatrically. And that has obviously an implication on whether or not to take it theatrically or to go straight into the video store. We also demonstrated that we can provide solid recommendations for the support that the movie needs in terms of advertising. I think that's an interesting point here, because we found many movies tend to be over-advertised. Okay. And we have a way of quantifying how much word of mouth this movie will spread. And if you have powerful word of mouth, you just don't need that much advertising, to support the movie. So the tradition is, let's play it safe, let's spend a lot of money, on advertising the movie, just that, we protect ourselves. Our studies, our research suggests that there's no need for that. Some movies can do quite well in the box office. with less support they receive from the distributor, just based on the word of mouth that is likely to be generated by these movies. Recently, we received a number of phone calls from movie producers, and they basically said, we heard about the work that you people have done, with the exhibitors, with the distributors. What can you do for us in terms of bringing science, to our world? So what is the movie producer's world? The movie producer basically has a script, and the key decision is whether or not to greenlight this script and make it into a movie. And in US, the average production cost is about $70 million. So you can imagine that, somebody is sitting on some textual information, and he or she may read it, he or she may have other people read it, but at the end of the day, they have to make a decision which is of magnitude $70 million. And, given that they've seen that we can add some science to this creative industry, they said, what can you do to help us? So over the last 5 years or so, along with my colleagues, I've developed a methodology that basically takes scripts and analyzes them. And the idea is pretty straightforward. What we do, first we compile a database of scripts that have already been made into movies, so we know how well they performed commercially. Next, what we do is we break down the movie into components. And by that what I mean, and there are two levels here. One level is done by human being, and the other level is done by a computer. So human beings do content analysis. So we have 3 readers who read each script and answers questions such as, is there a surprising ending in this storyline? Is there a conflict in the storyline? Is the conflict resolved in a reasonable manner? Okay, they go through a list of issues that basically capture the essence of the storyline, and this is done by human beings. Then we have computer that do their job, and the computer basically looks and counts how many words it takes the screenwriter to describe a scene, how many dialogues appear in the storyline. Is there one character who takes over all the dialogues, or are the dialogues spread pretty much evenly across the characters in the storyline? So, this gives us many, many dimensions of the script, which we later compare against the same dimensions that we have in the database, and we look basically what comes close to this new script, and this is how we generate, some kind of an estimate of, what is likely to be the commercial performance of the script once it's greenlighted, made into a movie. We've worked with a number of movie producers, independent producers, and interestingly, their reaction is that they don't always truly believe in the numbers that we give them, but they find it very valuable when we tell them, and normally these producers don't, they have a slate or a portfolio of scripts. And they find it very valuable when we tell them, look, we believe that your script A is your most attractive asset. Your script B is the next most attractive asset. Your script G is the least attractive asset. So this ranking that we give them, they find it very valuable, because if it reinforces, their judgment, they just feel better and they sleep better, because, these professionals also told them that, the judgment, corresponds to their judgment. On the other hand, if we give them ranking that, does not correspond to what they thought, then it encourages them to reconvene, reevaluate the scripts, ask why do the professionals, provide different assessment for our portfolio than what we thought before. They find it also as a very valuable exercise.